I almost quit. I almost gave up. I almost let the thought of other people keep me from achieving my goals, from achieving the things I already set out to do. Lately, I've been really struggling with frustration, envy, and fear. Those three things have been really heavy on me, and they've been translating into anger. And I've really struggled to understand why. And now I understand that it's because I was so afraid of what other people might think of me because of this, because of what they might potentially think of me, because of what they might say about me if they find this. How stupid. And you know what? I don't care. Because this helps me. I wake up every morning, and lately I've been waking up even earlier because I feel like I haven't been going hard enough. I've been waking up every day at 4:25. I've had the same morning routine. I wake up, make my bed, brush my teeth, have a Bible study, then pray, do my 100 push-ups, and then go on my morning walk. But today it really stood out to me because when I did my morning walk, I walked out. It was as soon as I walked out of my apartment. As soon as I walked out, I saw this group of people, four. It was two guys, two girls. One of the dudes was so drunk he couldn't even walk. He could barely walk. One of the girls had to end up, hold him up. But it occurred to me that it wasn't out of judgment or pride, but it was more so I saw confirmation. I saw confirmation that where I was headed, where I was heading, was a direction. I was headed towards somewhere. Because I saw that man and I saw myself. I saw who I was just a few years ago. And I know exactly what that man is doing right now. It's 7:43 p.m. right now. And he probably is just waking up. Maybe he woke up a couple of hours ago to, get something to eat, maybe some water, then crawl back into bed, watch some Netflix, and just rot in bed for the rest of the day because of a raging hangover. But I looked at that man, and like I said, I saw the old version of me. And that was that. They went their way, I went my way. And further down the path that I was headed, I saw two gentlemen arguing. They were speaking Spanish and talking very quickly, so I couldn't pick up everything that we were saying, but I got the gist of it. One of them was upset at the other because of his behavior and what he was doing at the club in front of the girls. And I sat there and I walked by, kept walking, and it occurred to me that everyone around me, everyone at this age, this is what they're worried about. Smoking, drinking, buying into this idea of you have to live life. And that's considered living life. And I fell for that. I fell for that trap. And it wasn't until I hit absolute rock bottom that I really looked at myself and asked myself, what am I doing? What am I doing? Because think about it, you're just stuffed in a room full of strangers. You can barely even walk. The drink you just dropped like $25, maybe 20 bucks on a drink you could have made for free at home. And you're stuck listening to music that you barely even like. And it only hits you because it's nostalgic. And everyone around you is just jumping up and down mindlessly to a song that they knew in middle school and high school, and maybe it was Bad Bunny's new album, who knows. But it isn't the fact that it hit me that was me. I was once that person that only sought after pleasure, that only sought after experiences, that had zero purpose, that only seeked to make myself feel good in the moment so I could forget about my problems for later. And eventually that snowballed into things that it shouldn't have snowballed into. And it wasn't until I hit a really low point in my life for me to realize that I was heading nowhere. Days into mindlessly just scrolling, mindlessly just consuming, mindlessly just not even learning. Days turn into weeks, weeks turn into months, months turn into even years. Eventually I got fat. Eventually I got mentally fat. My spirit wasn't growing. My mind wasn't growing. My body was getting out of shape. And when I went on that walk, that to me was a confirmation that I'm no longer that person. And I know that there's somebody out there. I know there's someone right now who doesn't want to do that. I know you don't. You can be honest with yourself. You don't have to lie to yourself. Just because the people around you want to doesn't mean you have to. You can say no. I know that's not what you want to do. You can lie to everyone, but the one person you can't lie to is yourself. You can have the whole world fooled, but at the end of the day, your subconscious knows the truth. And your brain is taking notes. And eventually you're going to be so deep in your lies that you forget who you are. You actually start believing your own lies. You actually started believing it. How much longer are you going to put up that act? How much longer are you going to pretend to like it? How much longer are you going to let your potential go to waste? These are questions that I had to ask myself. I get it. Truly, I get it. You surround yourself with the wrong people and you're afraid of being alone and you don't know who you are anymore. You've lost yourself in this lifestyle that you no longer understand who you are anymore. But eventually for me, I couldn't do it. I couldn't keep pretending anymore. I asked myself, this can't be all that life is. There has to be more. There has to be more than just this. There has to be. And this morning, I want to read you something from my Bible study. Something that really resonated with me. That really helped me. It's in Matthew 11:25. Matthew 11, verse 25 to 30. First verse 25 says, "At that time Jesus answered and said, I thank you, Father, Lord of heaven and earth, that you have hidden these things from the wise and prudent and have revealed them to babes." Now for me, I like to think of things in a very esoteric sense. I like to think of things in a very Jungian sense, very Jungian lens, because it just makes sense to me. And it scratches my brain in the right way. But it really sat with me, that verse, because, on a superficial sense, in the future, in the very superficial lens, you say to yourself, Jesus is thanking God. That's all he's doing. He's just thanking God and revealing divine truths to the humble and not the proud. That could be anybody's interpretation. But for me, I like to think deeper. I like to see things very, very deeply. I've always been a deep thinker. I don't take things at face value. I have to dig. I have to understand it fully from every single possible angle. So I really sat with it when it said hidden from the wise and prudent. So that means truth is veiled to those who rely solely on intellect. That the truth will always be veiled to those who use their ego and are proud in their intellect, that they believe they know everything already. And it really stood out to me when he said revealed to babes. To me, I was like, to babies. Spiritual truth is accessed by those with a pure heart, because a baby is pure, innocent, naive. When we're a child, before we're bitten with and corrupted by the world, we're innocent. We just played. The world was colorful. The world was fun. Every day was play. Every day was an adventure. Think back to when you were a kid, man. There's a reason why those days seem so colorful when you look back on them. Because you weren't tainted. You weren't corrupted. You weren't bitten by horniness. You had a pure heart, open mind, innocent. And to be wise and prudent represented the inflated ego. That those who cling to their persona or their social mask. Because the ego is what everyone wants to show themselves as and perceive themselves as. And the more you get to know that person, the more that mask slips. The more, you can't hide forever. Eventually, your ugly truth will come out. Truth always reveals itself. And I kept thinking about that part more, the base part. Yes, and then I really asked myself on the conscious versus unconscious self, and then this is what I came to. The bays are symbolic of the unconscious self that is open, curious, and willing to transform. To find God, you must return to the child archetype. Not immature, but spiritually innocent and receptive. When you were a child, that's when you were closest to God. You were so pure, you were so innocent. You didn't even realize you were close to God. You just were. How beautiful is that? But anyway, I won't go too deep into it, but it just really resonated with me because this verse is me. I'm choosing to set aside the world's distractions. I'm deciding to humble myself and, tell God, like, hey, I know that I know nothing. At the end of the day, I don't know what's going on in my life. I don't know I have no direction, but please show me. And then I walk outside and I see that. How beautiful. Like, how blessed am I that I get to see that. And these are small things that every day we take for granted. But this book, man, I gotta tell you, is the truth. I'm telling you, I just moved here to Spain, in Valencia more specifically, and I would actually lose my mind if it weren't for this book. This book is literally reading my life. Like, it isn't until I humble myself and approach to God like a child who says, teach me, because I'm finally ready to listen. Because, even kids are stubborn sometimes. Because of that, I believe he's revealing truth. He reveals the truth to those who are ready to listen. And I believe you didn't click on this video for no reason. Look how little views it has, man. Look how many little subscribers I have. Whether you believe in him or not, what I want you to start asking yourself is, what are you doing? What do you want? What do you want out of your life? And ask yourself, is the cycles and the same things that you've been doing helping? And before I go, I want to leave you something tangible. I want to leave you something to actually help you with. And I actually developed a system that I strongly recommend everyone. I really recommend you to do. Is start having a journal, bro. Not just any journal. You don't say how you feel or whatever, none of that. But it's very simple. I'll use mine for an example. Monday, February 10th, 2025. This is my morning routine. Every night before I go to bed, I write it down, what my objectives in the morning, so that I can attack them and I immediately have something to do in the morning. This is the first thing I see in the morning. And this is what I say: make bed, brush teeth, read 30 minutes, today's vision, minimum 1 hour of trading, complete, and then other things, for later in the day. But one thing that I really, really want to emphasize is today's vision. I want you to think about what your vision of the day is. For that part, that's where I want you to write down. Here's my example. You are making a lot of progress. Even try to find new and improved ways to progress. Constantly challenging yourself with new ideas. These are all massive improvements. There was a time when you'd sleep in till 1 to 2 in the afternoon. Now you get up every single solitary day at 5 a.m., Monday to Friday, weekends also included. I'm noticing so many changes in my life, but all the honor and glory goes to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Every day he is edifying me, molding me to be a better man. He has a plan for me, and I cannot wait for the beautiful blessings he has in store for me. In the meantime, I am to be always relentlessly attacking every single solitary day, striving for excellence. Every day is a gift I cannot waste. And that's your today's vision. That's your vision for the day. And at the end of the day, when you go to bed, like tonight, I'm about to put tomorrow, today's Tuesday, February 25th. No, that's a lie. Wrong page. Today's Saturday, March 22nd, 2025. And I'm about to put Sunday, March 23rd. And I'm going to put everything I need. At the end of the day, I want you to leave a little bit of space at the bottom. Leave a little bit of space. And I put end of day review. And you have to rate yourself from 1 to 10. You have to be very honest with yourself. This doesn't help you unless you are honest with yourself. You remember, you've been lying to yourself for so long. When are you gonna stop with the lie? Be honest. For that one that I said you are making a lot of progress, I said end of day review, 8 out of 10. Solid effort. Did not complete all the tasks. However, was still a proactive and productive day. We try again tomorrow. Very simple. It's very sweet and to the point. I challenge you. You've already been doing the same things over and over again. What's 10 euros, 10 bucks, $10? Just go. Buy yourself a journal. And I challenge you to do it. I challenge you for a week. For 1 week, pick a time that you're gonna wake up at and make a commitment that you're gonna wake up at that time. Write down the objectives the night before of your morning routine, of your morning ritual. It's not just a morning routine. You are setting the tone for the day. You are elevating your frequency. You are elevating yourself so that you can set yourself up for success, so that you can set yourself up to have a good day. So that you can make sure that you wake up before everyone else and you already start your day off with win after win after win. And you get to physically check off your list. I'm telling you, there's a feeling that is just so good when you get to physically check things off and you just see win after win after win after win. And eventually that snowballs, and eventually that snowballs into spirals upwards. You've been spiraling down for so long. When are you gonna start spiraling up? Only you can make that decision. Not your parents, not your brother, not your sister, not your dog, not your family, not your financial situation, not your job, you. It's time to start making decisions for you. It's time to start taking some self-accountability. Because at the end of the day, tomorrow isn't promised. How blessed are we that we get to wake up today? How blessed are you that you get to try again today? How blessed are we that we get to wake up healthy? That we get to wake up with the drive, that we get to try again. The decision's up to you. At the end of the day, you're gonna be equally as tired as if you just rotted and you're on your couch or your bed all day watching Netflix versus if you actually got up early and did something with your day. You will be equally as tired. The choice is yours. I can't make you do it, and there's no way for me to, peer over the screen and make sure if you did or not. Only you will. But how much longer are you gonna wait for that future you? How much longer are you gonna wait for the highest version of you that you've been dreaming of, that you see glimpses of, that you see visions of? How much longer are you gonna wait for him to be born? How much longer are you gonna put off the work? We're already in March, January, February, March. 3 months out of the 12-month cycle. We're 3 months in. March is basically gone. We're about to start up April. We're about to enter the 4th month out of the 12-month cycle. And what have you done? What have you accomplished? Are you still fat? What happened to those New Year's resolutions? What happened to losing the weight? What happened to saying to yourself, I'm gonna wake up early every single solitary day? Why'd you start slacking? Why'd you stop? To those who have ears to hear will hear. And those with the ego, the inflated ego, are only gonna get hurt. And I get it, I was there. I just hope that you don't make the same mistakes I made and wait for you to be at a really, really low point for you to finally hear. I'll see you boys tomorrow. Like I said, I almost quit on this YouTube channel and just walk away from it because I cared enough for what other people thought. And that's a whole other YouTube video that I can talk about all day about just not caring about what other people think. And you know, maybe that'll be tomorrow's video, but who knows? Who knows? But I hope you guys heard something. I'll see you tomorrow.